Joe Biden's devotion to Christianity was called into question over the weekend when the White House released a proclamation commemorating the International Trans Day of Visibility. The president was slammed across social media, with his rival Donald Trump demanding an apology. This latest Easter gaffe comes off the back of several embarrassing failures for President Biden at this crucial time, leading up to the November election. Sky News All-Stars Sharri, Markson, James Macpherson and Liz Storer dissect Joe Biden's humiliating Easter. Joe Biden caused a stir this Easter for all the wrong reasons. Instead of focusing on the traditional Christian Easter message of Jesus' death and resurrection, Joe Biden and the White House made an official proclamation acknowledging the International Day of Trans Visibility.
This year, Easter Sunday falls on Transgender Visibility Day, which is traditionally on March 31st. But this year, not only did Fairfax County, Virginia, make an official proclamation for Easter Sunday, so did President Biden. Biden was the first president ever to issue an official proclamation for Transgender Day of Visibility, and this was back in 2021. And in his proclamation this year, he said, quote, "Today we send a message to all transgender Americans. You are loved, you are heard, you are understood, you belong, you are America, and my entire administration and I have your back."
As expected, traditional and social media exploded, explains Sky News All-Star Sharri Markson.
Well, now to the United States, where President Joe Biden has ridiculed one of the most significant holidays in the Christian calendar. Biden has officially declared Easter Sunday Transgender Day of Visibility. He wrote in a social media post today, "We show millions of transgender and non-binary Americans that we see them, they belong, and they should be treated with dignity and respect." Of course, that's all true, but the question is why on Easter Sunday, and he has been condemned for this move.
Sky News All-Star Kosha Goda agrees, saying Joe Biden was seen to prioritise the feelings of trans people over Christians on Easter Sunday.
This has become a big thing because it feels like they're amplifying this day, superseding or over and above Easter. And the second thing is that this issue is very controversial if we're very honest about it. You know, it's not just about belonging and inclusiveness and all that, which I think most people agree with. It is about language policing. It's about, what falls in our children's curricula. It's about the conflict of transgender rights with women's rights in sports and prison cells and everything else. And so a lot of people just see it on the holiest day of the Christian calendar, amplifying that as sort of a slap in the face. And I think that's why he's sort of kicked off this firestorm.
And Sky News All-Star James Macpherson says Biden's latest gaffe was just another opportunity to push the already very well publicised LGBT agenda.
For Joe Biden, Easter Sunday was just another opportunity to promote gay pride and radical gender theory. The White House put out a statement saying, and I quote, "Now, therefore, I, Joseph Biden, President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim March 31st, 2024 as Transgender Day of Visibility. I call upon all Americans to join us in lifting up the lives and voices of transgender people throughout the nation." Now, as Fox News reported, it's not as if gay people don't have enough of their own sacred days. Fully 3 months and 28 days of the US calendar annually are devoted to celebrating LGBTQ+ issues. The Biden White House itself officially celebrates Lesbian Day of Visibility in April, Transphobia and Biphobia Awareness Day in May, Pride Month in June, Coming Out Day in October, as well as, and you can't forget, Intersex Day in October, as well as Transgender Day of Remembrance in November, and I could go on. So you would think that maybe they would just allow Christians to have their one holy day of the year. But no. Joe Biden tweeted, "On Transgender Day of Visibility, we celebrate not Easter, but the joy, strength and absolute courage of some of the bravest people I know. Today we show millions of transgender and non-binary Americans that we see them, they belong, and they should be treated with dignity and respect." Well, happy Easter.
Donald Trump and his camp jumped at the opportunity to publicly condemn Joe Biden and the White House for his lack of consideration on this sacred Christian day. Whilst Joe Biden was aligning with the trans community, the former president released his own Easter message steeped in Christianity, reveals Sky News All-Star Liz Storer.
I tell ya who knows how to do a good Easter message, though, and that is President Donald Trump.
We remember the suffering and death of God's only Son and his glorious resurrection on the third day. On Easter Sunday, we proclaim with joy, Christ is risen.
Christ is risen indeed, brother. I love it. I love it. Here's someone who's saying, this is a Christian nation. I still speak the language. Whether you want to argue that he himself is a Christian or not, I don't care. At least, like our pollies do every Ramadan, every Diwali, happy to celebrate every other religion's holy days, but it gets to Christianity and all of a sudden they're stumm. What happened? Oh, I don't know. Were there tweets down that day? No, you know exactly what happened. They just decided to outright ignore it, despite the fact that this was, to start out with, not only a Christian country, but you can thank the entirety of Western civilization for those who called Jesus Lord from the very beginning. Where do they think we even got the concept of human rights from and the equality of man?
Well, you know who wrote the Magna Carta? The Archbishop of Canterbury, for heaven's sake.
The funny thing about, you said, Joe Biden's turning LGBTQ into a state religion, and he does so by corrupting.
Well, it already has been, but it's further proof
He's reinforcing
that it
it, but he does so by corrupting the Christian religion of which he is supposed to be an adherent. He tweeted that transgendered people are made in the image of God, as the Bible says. Everyone's made in the image of God. Yes. But if you'd read the rest of the verse, it says God created them in his image, male and female. He created them. So Biden's great at quoting selectively and then twisting it for his own ends.
And to further highlight the difference in how Trump and Biden spent their Easter weekends, it has been revealed that Donald Trump took time to pray with the family of a slain NYPD officer, whilst Joe Biden was too busy celebrating the transgender agenda.
You were there when President Trump walked into the funeral home at the wake. What was your interaction like?
So it was really beautiful. Stephanie introduced me to the president as the priest that married them. And I was able to just say, Mr. President, thank you for being here. Thank you for your goodness to this family. Would you be willing to pray with us? And he said, of course, Father Duffy. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, President Trump would like to pray with us. Let's all say an Our Father together. And the whole room, including the president standing right next to me, prayed an Our Father. And then I gave a blessing to everyone present through the intercession of Our Lady of Sorrows. And then the president so beautifully turned and kissed baby Ryan on the forehead, and the baby clapped at the president, and it just broke the tension. It was just such a beautiful, human, simple moment that meant so much to the family and so much to the people in that room.
Following the harsh backlash, Joe Biden has since come out denying he had anything to do with the proclamation. But it seems as if the denial has come far too late, with social media personalities like Caitlyn Jenner, of all people, scolding the president. And if the trans Easter debacle wasn't bad enough for Joe Biden, the White House is again in damage control, trying to erase yet another blunder from his Easter speech, where he called Easter bunnies oyster bunnies.
Say hello to oyster bunnies. Come on up, bunnies. Get up here so they can see you. Come on, get in there. Pretty big bunny, huh?